Hello, my name is Anna, and I've been studying Japanese through Isekai light novels. I've been having fun, but recently I feel like I've been a bit too dependent on dictionaries and Google Translate. So I'm going to read this story without either. I'll be taking my best guess at what this says. I set a 10-minute timer, and I just edited out the longer silences. A couple of my friends are in the call, so you'll hear them chime in when they feel like it. And finally, this is an actual published story in Japanese, so I'll post a link below to the Japanese Amazon if anyone wants to check out the original story, or just support the original author. And if this gets an English release, I'll update my links. So this is Everything. The Isekaied person is self-sufficient. The hero is not the convenient one, but he has received it. Prologue. The Crying Goddess. Fun! I am so sorry. The golden-haired young woman was of short stature, and she bowed down. The good and correctness moved that day, and I could see her head. The young woman lowered her hips like a commissioner.
Excuse me?
And what I could not see was walking white brightness.
He's talking about panties, isn't he?
Oh, that would be unfortunate. Robute korute.
Robute is that one Warhammer 40k guy.
Alright, the shining white brightness of that one Warhammer 40k guy, it blinded me. The one piece of clothing was not detailed. However...
My money's still on him talking about panties.
However, the river of oil type of clothing was a uniform that I did not know. And for the girl who was wearing it, she was wearing what is called a no-sleeve one-piece dress. Next to her, I could see directly in front of me what began as a cut-off waterfall, and the sign was of a young goddess who I noticed to have feelings that were not full. I'm so sorry, I am so sorry. In front of me, the young woman was crying with big tears. And we cried together in a boat that came out. Though it was direct... What?
Just say, man, they just started the book and they're already shipping people. They're in a boat.
Mm-hmm. And it's going fast.
That's my commentary.
Directly in front of me was an expression that I could not tell was full of cheeks. The truth is, I was a little bit moved. This is the expression of death.
Wait, the cheeky expression is the expression of death?
Yes, the expression that's full of cheeks.
Huh. Well, look, there's only two sets of cheeks they can talk about. I took the high road that time.
That's fair. I appreciate that, considering what you thought the clothing was.
It's a light novel. What am I supposed to think it was?
A extremely Japanese person with black eyes and black hair has full business as a samurai. However, the servant who weeds is the one on the ground, and it is that sort of battle clothing. Another name would be the servant who rears. Before the movement of the big hand, a game company who I worked under continued to underread the various types of life, made it black without rice. Above this is what could be called moving before the age of 20 and sleeping with many types of smartphones, of which the location is correct. it had become that level of company.
Sleeping with smartphones is how you get a computer virus.
So those new AI girlfriends.
How did I come to be here? That is where my memories returned to. Perhaps it was the magic of moving to the age of 30 that brought me here. I need to hurry home. If I hurry, I can catch the bus. Did I die? I am so sorry. I'm not exactly blaming you, but what is the connection here? The young lady whose eyes were full of tears, but sat above the ground, said words that connected to me. It was entirely my fault.
Oops.
That is a terribly runny nose.
Here's the Kleenex. Oh, sorry.
You better go
Here's
catch
the
it.
tissue paper.
The insect collection point was very sorrowful, and the slippery nose existed. I listened with increasing giri. However,
that VTuber. I know that VTuber.
That VTuber giri?
Mm-hmm. String together any string of Japanese syllables and it's a VTuber. It's just facts.
However, the crying was going on too much and I shouted. And then I was hit with a baton.
No shouting at the god.
With a shin noise, I silently dropped. My throat was dry, and then I was very sad. The young woman's posture is what could not be called straight. In other words, the goddess was sniveling and sucking the snot back into her nose.
Was he trying to say the goddess is crooked?
Or just a lesbian.
A crooked lesbian. I recognized several problems in this goddess that kept repeating themselves. But there was a little bit of a condition that I saw.
You should get that checked.
The goddess's story had a necessary promise. This young woman was what was called the new rice god of an Isekai. The fundamentals of God include you gotta live, apparently.
Well, you can't be a god if you're dead, unless you're a god of death.
And
It's hard to be a god with no worshippers.
And to start off with, you had to make your own world that you reared. The long cut is that you had to make it entirely new. However, that was how magic was born. For this isekai, magic was life poison. Gabi. Was life poison garbage. And Warus it was life garbage and a virus. There were 100 lives for one victory. The world was correct, but it existed like hips.
Oh, the world doesn't lie then, because the hips don't lie.
Well, and
Some hips lie.
that's my timer, so that's where we're stopping. I hope you have all enjoyed Bad Translation Story Time.